Thank you.
Yes.
What? Because I did not really get that that's with that energy. Yes, it felt like. All right, thank you for understanding me. Explain that I felt like I turned into Flubber and I turned back into a human, and you
That
just
was
being like,
your
yes,
flubber was probably where it was like hyper speeding one way and then it went to go the other way
yeah.
and you
It's
were
like
still
that's the in
going that way.
between. All right, baby girl. All right, welcome to Cosmic Connect. I'm Frenchie.
Blue.
How you doing?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I feel like this episode tonight is, I almost want to call it like an Orion and an Andromedan walk into a bar.
Yes. There you go. That's it. That or just blue for real the entire thing. Oh
Blooper,
man.
blooper, blooper.
Do we tell them about the blue for like where that comes from for us? Because I feel like we say that, but like I don't know if it's been in an episode yet, so I don't know if they know about it, but it's
Oh,
kind of
yes.
funny.
Let's talk. Okay, so when I was making our account for like one of our social media accounts,
I think it was TikTok, right?
yeah, I think it was TikTok. It made it, you know how they automatically do name suggestions for you? So like the name it automatically suggested for us based off of our email name was Frenchie Blue Bloof.
Blue blue. What's
Frenchie
up,
Blue
blue
Bloof.
blue?
So our TikTok name was almost Frenchie Blue Bloof according to
Low
TikTok. So
key,
we just
low key. I would have to change my name to blue blue.
Blue Bloof.
I am a
Cosmic
blue blue
Connect
in
with
a
Frenchie
person.
and Blue Blue. It sounds like a mythical creature, like a Oompa Loompa, a Blue Bloof from the
Like it's
cosmic
like the
land of.
Centaur World. Have you ever watched that?
No.
It sounds like something from Centaur World. It's a cartoon. I forget what it's on. Um, Jeremy, come in hot. Tell me what it is. Where it's on. It's Netflix. Oh, okay, so it's on Netflix. But it's
Mhm.
super witchy show. It has like a bunch of centaurs, and they're trying to get this one. She like came there as a horse and
Mhm.
she slowly morphs from this horse to this cartoon version because the longer you're in this land, the more you become a part of that land.
Ooh.
So they're trying to get her to her friend so that her friend can get her out of this world. So it's
She
like
doesn't want to be in the world.
she wants to go back home to her human because
Why?
her
She has a
human.
mythical cartoon world.
I know, right? Well, it ends up getting good. Like she ends up kind of getting torn because she meets friends and she creates this, life and this journey of trying to get out. And so
Mhm.
then when they finally get her to a point where she can get out, she's like, "But I don't know, like I love you and I love you." And like
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's definitely like
You have to choose between worlds.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's
so
really
sad.
good. It's a good little I guess it's
Is
not
it
so
like?
much a kid show. I mean, it could be a kid show. You can totally watch that with kids. I don't know if it's
Mhm.
made for kids only
Right.
or if
Right. I
it's
feel
one of
you.
those like Lego World or Lego that movie. The Lego movie, like that movie is made for kids, but my god, that is an adult movie.
But
Oh my
I don't.
goodness.
I feel like I'm only seeing clips about it, so I don't know if I
Oh,
ever sat and was like watching the Lego movies, but
it's good. It's a funny movie, but it's like there's a lot of humor in it. That's
like
very
adult humor,
adult.
like yeah, but like how The Simpsons is, and like how the like family. But to
I
me,
mean,
that's just clearly made for adults. Like it's not made for kids,
yeah.
but it just looks like it is. I feel like there's a lot of things like that. But I love things like that. Like I love like cartoons, but like all the adult cartoons.
Yeah, my favorite show, one of my favorite shows of all time is Adventure Time. Like, I'm obsessed. I
Mm, I
love
never
Adventure
got
Time.
into Adventure Time. I never did, but I love Rick and Morty. That's my
Okay.
shit.
I
So,
didn't get the hype about Rick and Morty. Like, it's good, but like, I
hmm
just feel like the people that like love it, they like love it.
yes, but
and
that's
it's
how I
like,
feel about so
whoa.
many things like that I like, but I almost feel like I don't want to claim it. Like I don't even want to
Yeah,
claim that
that's
I like this
that's
thing
how I
because I'm
feel.
like because like with Star Wars for example, it's like I told you in one of these past episodes that I dead ass grew up watching that shit every week with my uncle, but but I don't even want to claim it sometimes because then people are like, but do you know this Megalord Galacticon from this planet and this like and it becomes a competition, and
You
I
know
don't like
what
when
though?
fandoms become a competition. Like let us just love
Yeah,
to the extent we
I
want to love.
I agree. You know what though? If you ever really want to be like, I love Star Wars, just use what I do. I just say I love Star Wars so much, but dude, I'm in it for the robots and the furry things.
Hell yeah.
And then they literally don't even care anymore. Like they at that point are they just write me off like, oh,
You're
you're one of those
blasphemous. You're a
fans.
living blasphemy.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. You're not gonna sit here and bore me to tears talking about what planet's better than the other when you don't even know that.
I would honestly, to be honest, I would love to have this conversation of which planet is better than the other. The other, like, I do look up. I know some stuff, but
I was
I
just
don't.
thinking of the best. That's probably a good
I'm
one to
not.
listen to, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things that people want to argue about with Star Wars. And it's like, I don't care, man.
Yes. I mean, I'm in it for the philosophical conversation of does to create balance, does that mean that the dark has to die, or does it mean that it needs to be a balance of the light and the dark? Because that's like some philosophical. Like I like to think about things like that because George Lucas basically has it so that I don't know. I don't want to get into all that right now, but I'm I get it. I get why people want to talk about this stuff and get into it, but
I
I
just
just
don't
don't
get
like
the
when people
hostility.
judge you. Yes, I don't get why
Yeah.
people judge you and use it as like an ego trip of how much they know about something. It's like I don't I'm interested in talking about it to get the point of the conversation, but I'm not gonna know the names of all the planets. I'm not gonna know the names of all the creatures. I'm not gonna know the year of this thing. Like I'm not gonna know. I'm not gonna know the name of everything. But are you in it to talk to me or are you in it to show off your fucking knowledge like an asshole
Yes,
and
it's
try to
so
somehow
true.
date me because of it? Like what?
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, we're not really getting in here to talk about Star Wars today. I think we're just gonna have a random silly episode. We're gonna take a little break from the star
Mhm.
seed families. We'll come back to that, but we just
Mhm.
wanted to do a little quick silly, just
Touching
getting to know each other.
up.
Gonna ask each other some questions, right?
Mhm.
I don't think I have anything
Mhm.
prepared. I'm just gonna let it naturally come to me.
No, because that's the best times is like when you're at a sleepover and you're like, let's play the question game, and you just start asking questions and see where
I
it
feel like
goes
you've
and
been
letting
really
that take
wanting
you
to do
away.
this. So, what burning questions do you have?
Oh, we're initiating the question
Do we
game.
wanna do we wanna do any card pull with this, or do you just
Yes,
wanna do a
and
silly?
no, it's so funny is that just popped in my head. And then, do you know what question I want to ask you though? As I have this deck of cards that I'm gonna start shuffling. What do you have a favorite um tarot tarot card of the deck?
A favorite tarot card?
If you had to, or let's make it a more better worded question. Let's change it. Not just your favorite, but what tarot card has have you like resonated with the most, or like if you had to choose one tarot card that you were going to be, which one would you be?
Ooh. Uh, so I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be kind of funny because, like, I think what I would do is one, it would be the one card in the deck that looks different than what it like. You know how like you get a deck, a tarot card deck, like a pretty basic one, like they all have the same back, and like they're
Mhm.
the pictures are all like similar themed, and right. I feel like this card would be like a sequenced front picture, like the picture would be like sequence or glittery or something, while all
Mhm.
the other ones are just normal. And I think
Mhm.
it would be the tower. I feel like the tower is
Mm.
the card that like the card for like change, like, and I feel like I a walking, talking, like I live my lessons and I try to learn from them and change from them and grow from them. And like, that's like what I want out of people. Like, I always question them and challenge them in their opinions because I want them to change, not
Mm.
for me, not to change to my opinion, but to change for themselves and better themselves. Cause I just think that's the whole fucking point of life. So I think the
I love
tower card
that.
gets such a shitty rap,
Mm.
but I feel like if we just made it glittery and all the other cards are their basic colors, like that would make it better. That would make it me.
A glittery tower card.
Because I'm like
I love that.
not necessarily a glitter chaos, but I'm definitely like a sparkly chaos. Like I feel like I'm a pretty girl in a pretty package, but I'm kind of like, bah!
I think that's why we got some similarities, probably.
Yeah.
Yo, I love that because to me, the tower too is like divine intervention and like
Mm,
things that are coming to shake you up, but it's always to just test out your foundation to make it stronger. So, yo, okay, but tell me that's not cosmic connecting to
I
your Orion energy and how you are here to shake things up and like
yeah.
you've experienced a lot of life shake ups in your life, but that's how you view evolution. That's how you
Mhm.
as a soul have like evolved for so many lifetimes. Like
Yeah.
that's cool. It's like a little bolt of lightning. Like zoom,
Mhm.
tower,
Mhm.
baby. I love
Like when I get that card, I'm like, "Oh, something's coming." Like
something's
I'm never
something's gonna happen.
like I'm never like, "Oh shit." Like unless I
Yeah.
know. You know what I mean? Like if you
Yes.
know there's something going on that
Because
you're like, "Oh
sometimes it
shit."
really is oh shit. But a
Yeah.
lot of times people just fear it because they fear change, like you were saying. But it's not something to fear because I fully believe that those tower moments, I mean, they can definitely be oh shit moments. They can be some oh shit moments, but it's always guaranteed that it's going to lead to your greater betterment overall. Like that, like
Yeah.
you may not see it for years down the line. You might not see it in this lifetime, but it is like a fact that that is a divine thing. So like if something crazy happens, but I got the tower card, it's almost like hopeful because it's like, oh, this is supposed to happen this way.
Yeah.
This is God doing
Yeah.
this for a reason. That's how I interpret it. So I
Yeah.
love that, and I love that you're like, yep, that's me, and I love it. That's like,
Do you feel close to the star? Because I feel like that's the, you know, your number that you
mm-hmm.
love to use, and it happens
XVI
to be that number, and so
is
like
the star. Yes, I will say like the star. I I like to I do feel I embody that as in many forms, and having some type of like being that light of hope, like being that a guide of sorts. I feel like that has definitely resonated with me. I also very much resonate with the High Priestess, of course. I feel like we talked about that.
mm.
Where I, to me,
Oh, I
because I
think you
feel
talked
like
about that in the
many,
course. I don't think we talked about that. I think
yes,
we talked about that in Quantum Goddess because that
yes,
card was
we
one of our first
had,
few weeks, right?
yes, we talked
Yeah.
about the High Priestess, and I do feel connected with that. I feel she's in between the worlds. Um, she has this spiritual knowledge. She sees things. She knows things. Um, she's a boss bitch.
Hmm.
So I feel like almost like on a soul level, I feel like the star, but then
Mm.
I feel like on my human embodiment level, I feel like the High Priestess, because that's what I do. Like when I'm doing
Yeah.
my light language, that's traveling between the worlds, being connected with the different realms. That's me being between the realms. And I think that there's much power in understanding that space in between, and having the knowledge of light and having the knowledge of darkness, and knowing the knowledge of your own light and darkness, and having that inner knowing of yourself in order to understand that externally in the world. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think I like that. I think the other thing is like maybe not necessarily like in the tarot interpretation of the High Priestess, but like in a
Mhm.
general, like a High Priestess, like in a real like life scenario, like they have
Mhm.
a lot of power, but for some reason it's not a power that people think of like power or like
Yes.
lording over power. It's like a
Mhm.
humble respect power too, which I think
Mhm.
comes from being respectful to others and appreciative and grateful and all of those things, because I think that's the
Mm.
embodiment of that. And I
Yes.
think that that's definitely true. I never have talked to you ever once where you're like, nope, it has to go this way, like in that like powerful lording over someone way. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's it's a good person to want
Yes.
to embody too, like a good like
Yes.
symbol.
Yes. I feel like many people strive as like the empress or like the emperor, and I think I would love I love that too. I think we want to strive to connect and balance all the cards of the deck. Of course, we're
Yeah, yeah.
all the cards. We
Yeah, you
all
are all the
resonate with the
cards
different
at
cards, you
some
know.
point in your life. Trust
Yes.
me.
Absolutely. Like we are all the cards. So it's not to say I'm this and but
Right.
I do feel like the empress is like it's almost like she's in the physical realm, she rules in the feminine sphere, and then the
Mhm.
emperor, I feel like, is what you were saying, where it's like the emperor is like the
Yes.
harsh
The
kind of
masculine.
like, I
Yeah,
do
it's
the power and I
yes.
exert myself. But to me, the high priestess, she's more in this, it's more of the spiritual realm,
Mhm.
and it's not, it's, yeah, like you were saying, it's not necessarily like
It's not necessarily power that
exuded. It's a
yeah,
deep
that's
thing within
yes.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like
And I feel like that's my Scorpio kind of like parts of, and like my eighth house placements, which is like the Scorpio type placements, is like that kind of like darkness depth of knowingness.
right.
I resonate with that energy. I feel like naturally just more than I do with the more empressy type of energy. You feel me? Oh,
Yeah.
let's get some smoke.
I just
Smoking
did
cleanse.
I did an Oreo pull, an Oracle card pull for my last client. So I
Oreo.
felt like before I
How has that been going? Like pulling cards for clients and stuff. Do they love it?
I love it. I think it's so fun. I will say that I'm
Mhm.
absolutely a chicken shit when I know that their opinion might be not welcoming. Like if I'm like,
Oh.
I don't know if they like this, I'm just immediately like, nope, not bringing it up. Um, like my
I
one
feel that.
client, she is so sweet, so nice, but she said one time she's like, yeah, my sister got one of those like uh tarot reading things and I don't know. And I was just like, okay, like keep that in mind. Like I don't know if I'll ever mention the
Yeah.
oracle card thing.
Yeah. Yo,
um
like, yeah, sometimes I feel like, yeah, with all this stuff, I feel like sometimes it's just like you can just tell if someone's just already not down. And
yeah,
sometimes you
yeah.
can't, but like you like I don't know, I guess everybody has their own side that they err on of like, I'm gonna be just ask every single person, and then some people are like, I don't want to. Some
Yeah.
people might feel disrespected from you even
Yeah.
asking them, and
No,
that's
and
like
if there was
the weird
somebody that I
thing.
wasn't sure, like if I truly
Mhm.
just wasn't sure, I might ask. But
Mhm.
because if it's a client that I've had forever and I've heard them say certain things, like those are the ones where
Yeah.
I'm just like, Yeah, so I added this thing to this service, but I'm just not gonna tell you. And it's just because I think that's where I have like a hard time truly stepping into my own, like of like I am a witch and like I am this, like,
Mhm.
and it's really only then. It's like if I know there's a preconceived thought towards
Mhm.
a thing, I'm just not gonna talk about it. Like, don't know anything about it. Just
Mm. Yep. Yep. Oop.
but
Nope. Not me. That's not me.
it's such a I have such a hard time with that being like a bad thing though, because a part of me feels like
Mhm.
you're disrespecting like what they don't want to hear or talk about, or you know what I
Mm.
mean? So just yeah, I
Mhm.
definitely have like this like am I having a hard time being visible, or am I just being respectful of their values
Right.
and their beliefs because
Right.
I don't want to be a thing. I don't want them to think like I'm pushing my
Mhm.
views on them. So
Yes.
I've had this
Yes.
internal battle of like, which one is it? Why can't I say
I
something?
think it is like a balance. Yeah. I feel like it is a balance because
Yeah.
you don't, if you dead ass know that somebody's going to be offended by it and you're like, I'm going to do this thing for you. No, but I feel like asking some, I don't know, I feel like it never hurts to ask, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like also if you ask like would you be offended or are you into like this, you know what I mean, like people are more likely I think to be like, oh no, I wouldn't be offended, like that's fine, or no, not interested, but at least you asked if it would offend me, you know. What'd you get?
I need a second.
Woo!
Oh my god.
If it's like the tower
Okay,
or
first of all, I
manifestation.
don't like normally if like cards fall out, I will put that back in and shuffle because I just don't count that like that being like the
Uh-huh.
card that popped out. But seeing as one of these cards is a word we've talked about several times in this recording so far, and a couple of the other ones are literally why we're here, I have to keep
Mm-hmm.
it.
What is it?
So they came out like this.
There's the
Power.
bees, the lightning, that literally is the tower. Power tower.
What? Divine purpose, which again talked about that, and then community in which we are sharing this right now with.
The bees. Buzz, buzz, buzz.
So yeah,
We've been
that felt
talking about the bees.
what it just felt necessary. I can't put any of those cards back.
Power, divine purpose, community. Like, yo, y'all watching at home, better check this out real quick. Power, divine purpose, community. Beautiful.
I'll post a picture. I can't even.
What do the
And
little
it came
things
in the
say?
order of power, divine purpose, and community. So we're using our power, which is our divine purpose, to start this community. And I just think like
Mm-hmm.
if I wasn't on camera right now, I'd probably burst into tears because I'm one.
And the power of your divine purpose is found in your community.
Yes. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Because that's literally, I believe, what we have experienced.
It's like I'm a witch or something.
Literally.
I don't know.
Almost. They're like something like, it's almost like I'm connected to a group of women I have never met in person
And we know each
before.
other so well. Wow. I'm flabbergasted by that
Almost like we
drop.
are cosmically connected.
We just turn all of our titles into like inside jokes.
Oh, I have
Oh
a
Lord.
card that popped out too, and it is, I'm using the Golden Universal Tarot. I love it because it's shiny. The cards are shiny.
Ooh.
But we have the Knight of Swords.
What's it?
Dun, 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 dun.
The March of Swords?
The Knight of
Ooh,
Swords.
the Knight of Swords. I love
Like,
this, the gold foliage. Is that what it is?
yes,
It's
it's like
very strong.
foiled. And on the bottom of the deck, I just put the deck down and this one you could see that it's really is like all golden and shiny.
Oh
I don't,
yeah,
okay,
look
you
at
can't
that.
really, maybe you can't see, but you
Nope,
see
yeah,
how
I can see
shiny it
it.
is?
Wow.
Ooh. And then we have the
Oh
magician on the
man.
bottom, and that's a fucking card too. Like,
Next,
beautiful. I've been getting the magician a lot, but a different deck. Yeah.
yeah, next week or when we record next or next episode, I'll try to break out my holographic tarot.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'll pull those
This
out.
was I feel like this was my first like full tarot deck, and it was like I was like, it's shiny. And I would be doing for readings for people at work, and like, because I would just be chilling there. I had this job that was just be so slow in the winter because it was like ice cream shop.
Okay.
So I would just be chilling, and people would come up and they would, I would have, I would like, I would do some readings for them and just pass the time, or whatever. And I remember I would be like, some people would be like what? And they're like, no, like I'm not into that, like witchy shit or whatever.
But it's
But I'm like,
shiny.
nah, look, it's shiny. I'm like, it's shiny. How could it be a bad message for you? Like, it's shiny.
Nothing that's shiny is bad for you. Everything that's shiny is
It's shiny. What's it gonna do? Come on.
good.
I feel like that's how
Pretty sure
fairies are out here being mischievous, though.
I'm pretty sure people have shiny weapons, so I don't know if that's necessarily always a valid.
It's shiny. What's it gonna do? It's fine. It's
Fine.
also just a really loud bomb. What's it gonna do? It's fine. It's like a firework. You can't have the sparks without the boom boom, you know?
Oh my goodness. Oh Lord.
Oh,
So what does the
what's
Knight
up?
of Swords mean to you? What do you think that has to say to us today for those of you
I
that don't
feel
know what
like
Knight of Swords stands for?
this Knight of Swords this week is telling us to charge forth,
That's so funny. That's literally what I was
charge
thinking.
you what? That's
I
what
was
you were thinking?
literally thinking, yeah, I was thinking charge forward. So like still an F
Charge
word, but
forward. Yeah, I'm just saying it like in the 1800s version for some reason. Like, forgive me. I was speaking in a British accent because I'm like the knight of
yes.
because we're talking about knights. So then I'm like,
Yeah.
we got
That
to
makes
get
sense.
into a character
Of course.
with the knights of the round table, and the little Lancelot over here charging
Oh,
forth
I want to
into
go to a
the
Renaissance fair.
day. Yo,
Sounds so
I want to
fun.
go to. I've been saying this for years and I haven't gone, so I do need to just like freaking get that shit done.
Yeah. I need to go to one this
There's
year.
one,
So
there's one
fun.
upstate. There's
Yeah.
one upstate that happens every year, but I still haven't gone.
Is it in the fall?
I think it goes in like August.
Hmm.
I don't know. Obviously, I haven't gone, so I can't tell you.
It'd be fun. We should find a Renaissance fair that maybe we can meet at. It'd be wild.
Yo, that would be fucking fire. Yo, because there was some of the East Coast goddess gang people were doing like this thing called the Lunar Fair. Did you see the Lunar Fair stuff that
I don't
they were
think I
putting about?
did. I'm gonna go to that See Here Now festival in
Ooh,
September. I think Katie already has a hotel. We'll probably either get a hotel at the same place that she got a hotel, or maybe we'll camp somewhere. But we're definitely gonna meet up with her. I'm excited. I
that's
think it's gonna
so
be fun.
exciting.
But Stevie Nicks is the headliner. Like, I have to see that.
Stevie.
And like Green Day and then Billy Strings. It's like a weird lineup. I'm so excited.
I kind of love that all together.
I know. It's
Stevie
so
Nicks
different.
and Green Day. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of Billy Strings?
I didn't know about Billy Strings.
Oh my God. this guy is like 26 years old. He's from Michigan, so he's kind of
Mhm.
big around
Oh, so
here.
you
Yeah,
know.
so I
Mhm.
know. Um, but he is like this amazing guitarist, but I think he plays other things, but he usually plays in like a quartet and it's
Mhm.
insane. It's like bluegrass, like folk, but like he
Mm.
grew when he was younger, like probably teenage, he was in a metal band. So you can definitely like pick up on some of that metal influence in
Right.
it.
He has the
Um,
influence.
mhm.
That's cool.
But it's really, really good. I would say it's like jammy, like jam band, like that kind of vibe. But Jeremy plays the
Mhm.
guitar, so of course we're both our guitar heads over here. Just
Into
love when
it.
someone can shred a guitar. Oh, so
Love
good.
it. Shred
He's really
that.
good. I would look
Meow,
up one
meow,
of his live sets.
meow.
If anyone is listening and is interested, look up one of his live sets. You won't regret it. Put it on, play it in the background. You'll love it.
Jimmy
So good.
Strings. His name is Jimmy
Billy
Strings.
Strings. Billy.
Wow, but
Billy Strings.
Billy Strings.
Billy with a Y, not Billy IE. It's Billy like it normally is spelled.
Billy Strings.
Billy Strings.
Billy Strings. That's a cool name. I like that.
It is a cool name. Yeah. The
It does
first time
sound,
we heard
and it. Let me.
what?
Did we just? Did I just? I would like feel like we both thought we
No,
cut
you're
each
good.
other off,
We
and
were
then we both stopped talking.
yeah,
Like,
we both stopped. I don't know. I don't remember what I
okay.
was gonna say. It wasn't relevant.
No, I don't know why we're even how we. Wait, but speaking of like festivals, tell me about your festival that you just
Oh
came back
yeah.
from. Tell us what's good with the summer camp.
So there's already an episode planned for Tuesday after summer camps or the this so this is going to be like 3 weeks after summer camp when this episode airs. So by
Mhm.
this point, I think I will be 1 week away from closing on my house or our house. Me and Jeremy
Woo!
were closing on a house.
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
But
whoop.
Memorial weekend, we went to a music festival called Summer Camp, and it was my 12th year and Jeremy's 11th year. We're pretty loyal at this point. I usually don't even know the lineup. Like, I think the lineup is out, but I don't know necessarily who's on the lineup before I even buy my tickets. I'm
Mhm.
just like, I'm going. It's fine. Um,
Mhm. I love
we had
that.
a great time. We get there usually Wednesday. We pay for a pre-party pass. It's on Thursday. We get there Wednesday though, and we sleep in line, which is not always my favorite thing to do, but I actually got like a couple hours of sleep. Shocking. I usually never do. I end up just laying there and like listening to everybody around me. um, but I actually got some sleep, and then we got in, and it's like a camping festival, and you have to literally carry all of your stuff in, and there is no assigned camp spots, so it's a free for all. um,
Oh shoot.
so we kind of have a spot that we like though, so we went to that area and we got the best spot, like the best spot. I literally pinned it in my GPS and I hope and pray that it stays in there forever because we will be camping in that same spot forever if I have anything to do with it. Um, but as soon as we got set up and all of our stuff was in our tents or underneath our canopy, it started to rain. And it rained
Oh.
for several hours. And
Oh,
it came
that
out
is.
pretty heavy, but it was fine. But we left our clothes and all of our bedding in the car because we thought it was going to rain when we were waiting in line. So all we brought in was
Mm.
like our tents and like our food and
Mhm.
like the things that you need to camp. So we didn't have any clothes to change. So it wasn't, and I forgot my freaking raincoat in the car, which is my favorite jacket ever. And I lost it there this year and I'm devastated.
Oh
Ugh.
no.
But I left that in the car so I couldn't get wet because it was all I had on was all the clothes I had until I went back out to my car. So we
Oh
basically just
no.
hung out in our canopy, and when there was a break in the storm, we ran and got food, and then we came back to our site, and then it rained again. um, and then eventually it lightened up, and we were able to make it to the car, and then we had clothes to change into and rain gear and all of that.
Yeah.
Hindsight being 2020, if you're leaving your clothes and stuff in the car to keep it dry, you should still bring your rain gear.
Mhm. Or
Learn
at
from me,
least
kids.
one outfit.
Yeah. Um, so then it rained quite a bit on Friday, which was not on the map. It was weird. Jeremy had been paying attention to the radar the whole day on Thursday, and by Thursday night, it looked completely clear, like everywhere around us. Well,
Mhm.
then he looks it up again on Friday morning when we wake up to rain, and literally the storms were like circling this little area.
What?
It was the trippiest thing looking at it on the radar. I was like, what the hell? That's wild.
What kind of activity?
I don't
Yo,
know,
do you
but
think that the magnet of the field of all the people coming together was like,
I'm telling you, this was one of the most magical years I've ever experienced. I don't know, but there was something because we ended up meeting up with a girl that we camped next to last year, who is my friend now, but she was my first in real life witch friend. Um,
oh,
yeah, so like I was talking to her and she rips out her tarot cards and like her oracle,
mhm,
like she had an oracle witch deck. It was dope. And she's like, "You want to pull a card or two?" And I was like, at the point I had just came out of the broom closet, but like barely. And I was just
mhm.
like, um, sure. I guess, even though inside I'm like, yes, I really want it. Like,
Give it to me. Pull all the
so,
cards.
so our summer camp last year got moved from Memorial Day to August. So from August to this Memorial Day, she came and visited us once and we went to visit her once. So like by this point we really are friends. Like I've texted her,
Mhm,
we're friends on Instagram, like all the things. And so she was like trying to meet up with us. Well, when they got there, it was raining, so they just got set up. We ended up being pretty close. But I am not kidding you. On more than 3 occasions, so I lost track after three, I would be
mhm.
like, I wonder where Pep is. And I would look up and she'd be right there.
What?
Then one time she was like, she now it happened to her a couple more times like it did me, but one of the times she specifically told me I was literally going to get my phone out of my waist belt. Yeah, like we have like these hip, like they're like fanny pack belts things.
Mhm.
She goes to pull her phone out because she was going to text me, and as she unlocks her phone, she looks up and she sees me. So then
Happened to you both.
I was talking about these magical experiences that me and her were having with another neighbor that we had this year, just met her this year. And I was
Mhm.
telling her about how like there's just something magical about this year. Like I literally am like, where is this person? I look up, they're there. Or oh, like I wonder where this thing is, and then I end up walking past the vendor that has that. Like it's just like weird stuff is like lining up. She's like, no way. I thought it was just me. She was like, I was literally telling Bobby, her boyfriend, about a friend that she had met at summer camp years ago. And it was one of her first friends in her rave family that is now like this huge, like 20 plus people, I think she said.
What?
She was talking about how she hasn't seen him in several years. And she said, and she might have even said the last time she seen him was 2015. I know that's when she said she met him, but that was when she first met him. Or it was the last time he was at summer camp was 2015, but they'd seen each other at other shows, something like that. As she finishes talking to him about this man walks in their path. And she's like, oh my God, I was just talking about you. And I literally got full body chills when she told me that. I'm getting full body chills right now. And I was like, that is crazy. And it happened several times after that
What?
with different things. Speaking of one of it that it happened with, who I need to message her later about our podcast, was Erin. I
No
was
way.
we both knew we were going to summer camp, and she was
Mhm.
like trying to like plan a meetup. Well, I
Mhm.
just don't when I'm at summer camp, I just don't plan. I just kind of like
Mhm.
I just like go all
Yeah,
over
you
wherever
noodle
I'm called to.
around.
Yeah. I can't be held down to a schedule. I'm
No, you are
sorry.
in festival mode.
So I literally just sent her like a few different artists that I was going to be at, and just like, you know what? The
Mhm.
universe wants us to cross paths. We'll cross paths. I just know it. I thought I had seen her at one show like the day before, but she was
Mhm.
just far enough away. I wasn't sure. And by the time I was like noticed it was her, their whole group was leaving. So I was like, I wasn't going to be able to get through all the people to get to her.
Yes.
I was going to be like chasing
Mhm.
her. So I just kind of was like, if that was her, like I meant to pass her again. So it's Sunday night. It's the last like couple sets, and everything has like gone to this one wooded area that they call Illumination Woods, and that's the one spot that they decked
Ooh.
out this year. So they put all these cool like they had like a mushroom with the toad sitting on it and smoking. Like they had
Mhm.
like a bunch of little mushroom things, and they had these cool like they were wooden, but like they each were on two different things, and you could spin them. And when they would spin across each other, they like would cross each other in really cool ways.
That is very trippy.
Yeah, it was really
That sounds
trippy.
dope.
And then they had like a jungle gym in there, like one of those like triangle like domes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
They had one of
Mhm.
those. Well, I'm levy wanding and I look up and I see this girl standing on the top of the dome, like with her feet on these bars. And I'm like, what? What is this crazy girl doing? I keep levy wanding. I keep zoning in and out of levy wanding in the music and
Mhm.
then she's like laying on it, and I like look up again, and I'm like, I think that's Erin. And I like try to say her name. She doesn't hear me because I think she was talking to someone. And so then I just like
Mhm.
keep doing my thing, and I try to say her name again. She doesn't hear me. Well, at that point, I had like dropped my wand a couple of times. I was just like, I'm gonna take a break. Well, I used my wand to poke her in the butt. I was like, Erin. And she looks down at me and she's like, Erin. And I was like, oh my gosh, it is you. And then I was thinking, like, after she said my name, I was like, how embarrassing would that have been if that wasn't her? Like, if I just poked some random girl in the butt, like, God. Uh,
Alright.
so, yeah, so I ended up seeing her. Of course,
Oh
we forgot to take a picture of each other because we were just so like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I see you. Da, 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 da. Like,
my
uh,
god.
but yeah, so
As
I
a true
saw her
festival
and
should go.
it was just so weird because I was like, it was Sunday night, it was the last set. I was like, damn, like our paths didn't cross. Like, I guess, like, what? Like, I thought for sure we would see each
Mhm.
other. And then sure enough, like, I see her the last
You
night.
did.
But yeah, so it was rainy the first couple days, and then it ended up warming up and dried up really fast. They ended up having to spray the paths to wet them down from them being dusty. So it was it was both worlds all in one weekend. It was great.
Wow.
It was perfect. It was a perfect
You
weekend.
started with the water and then all those, and then you fired it up.
And it was
Dusty
supposed to be
Diane.
like 90 degrees on Monday, which would have
Oof.
really sucked since we have to like load everything back out. But it ended up being
Mhm.
like an easy breezy 70 degrees.
Oh,
Like it
that's
was
beautiful.
great.
That's so perfect.
Um
That's so perfect.
we had one major win was since I said I lost my jacket, I'll be a positive Patty and change this around a little bit.
We
Another
try.
another neighbor, this poor guy, I felt so bad. His friend and his girlfriend straight up just left him there.
What?
And this shit happens every year. Like I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah, I
Every
feel like
year,
that's just there's always
something about me
something.
and Jeremy just scream to people like we will help you and we will comfort you, and they always ask us. I'm not even kidding you. And I'm
Oh
down with
yeah,
it.
those
I'm here
people.
to comfort you,
Yeah, the good
bro. It's fine.
Samaritans.
Yeah. Um, so we let him use our phone, and he called his girlfriend or his friend. I don't know. I think it was his girlfriend, but I at the end of the day, I don't think she'd be my girlfriend after that personally. But that's neither here nor there. Um,
No way.
but so I just told him I was like, hey, like after he called her a couple times and he just wasn't getting through, I was like, dude, like if you need a ride home, like where do you live? And he was like, he says this town, and I'm like, is that in Illinois? And he's like, because we were in Illinois. And I was like, is that in Illinois? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, wait, where are you from? And I was like, Michigan. He's like, oh, there's a lot of people from Michigan here this year. I was like, I've been here every year for 12 years. So, and I was just like, so I like used my phone to look up where that's at. And I was like, oh, dude, like that's literally an hour north. It's literally on our way home. Like, I will give you a ride home if you need a
Mhm.
ride home. Don't worry about it. Like, don't keep calling your friends. If they ditched you, they ditched you. Screw them. Like, I'll give you a ride home. Don't worry about it. He's like, I don't wanna make you guys do that." I was like, "Okay, well, that's fine, like, do what you gotta do, man."
Mhm.
Um, well, then I ended up, like, talking to our other neighbors and packing up more things, and then Jeremy ends up going over and talking to him. I guess he ended up getting a hold of his girlfriend or friends or whatever, and they would come back and get him, but he had to meet them at a hotel that was in town. So, he was just gonna leave all of his stuff there. And one of the biggest pet peeves of mine about camping festivals is if you're going to come to a camping festival, bring in what you're going to take out. Do not leave a
Mm,
mess. Don't do that. Because these
so many
parks are not
people.
festival parks. These parks are
Mhm.
this town's park. They do, local
Mhm.
festivals here. They do farmers markets here. They do little shows here for the local people. You have 40,000 people coming in for this festival, and then you treat it like it's a dumpster, like, what the hell?
Mhm.
So, Jeremy comes over and is telling me and our neighbor that this guy just was gonna leave his stuff, and we were like, "What?" Like, "No, he's not. Like, he can't do that." And by the time we got over there, he was already gone, and Jeremy's like,
What?
"Yeah, he already left a while ago." And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's leaving all that." And we're like, "What?" So another one of our neighbors thought their wagon got stolen, but the neighbor that
Mhm.
I was talking to's like roommate friend actually borrowed the wagon to take something out to his car. So meanwhile, they think their wagon is stolen, but they're like, "Oh man, I've always wanted a canopy." So this guy left a canopy. So they're like, "Dope, we'll take the canopy." I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I have two wagons. I'll go drop off one. I'll come back in here and help you with your stuff. Don't even worry about it." And then all of a sudden, as they're getting this canopy down, the neighbor walks up with their wagon. He's like, "Hey guys, I borrowed your wagon." They're like, "Oh my God." So like they got a canopy, they got their wagon. Me and Jeremy were talking about how our tents were too small for summer camp, and the tent that he had that he left was like a $200 like teepee tent. So I'm like, bet I'm gonna take that tent, and that's our tent now. This tent was brand new. You could still
What?
see the creases in it. The only thing was is these drunk MFers must have dumped a beer in the bottom of it, so it was a little sticky and wet, and so dirt had got stuck
Mhm.
to it, but only on the floor. You could just tell the inside. If you've ever seen a new tent, you just know. It
Uh-huh.
was
So you
brand
just
new.
got a new tent.
They just got a new tent, probably a new canopy. The bags were there. The tags were still on one of the steak bags. So literally everything was there. And I was like, "Well, I just
Perfect.
got a brand new tent." Another dude got a a pretty nice air mattress, and then the other couple got a so, but we ended up cleaning that whole campsite up and picking up all their trash. They left like
Oh,
a
that's
whole box
nice.
of that go-go applesauce, the little like
Mhm.
pouches. They left a whole box of those, a half a box of Capri Suns, like a ton of fruit. Like you could literally have made a fruit basket with how much food they left. It was like, you guys are,
Wow.
and I was like, I feel like people like that, and I hate to be like, oh, rules, and we need to have more more guidelines, but I just feel like people like that shouldn't even be allowed to come to camping festivals. Like if you're gonna treat it like that, like you should just not be allowed. You can come to
Be
the festival, but just go to a
respectful.
hotel afterwards.
Right. So how do you think, what is the best test to decide whether who those people are that you can allow into the festival or not?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's good. That's literally where I go. I
You
don't
are
know.
no.
No, I guess I mean like
Like the Rorschach test
well
of the
to have like
festival
campsites,
politeness.
but like I just think it would be if there was set up campsites, it would be easy to do that then because like your name would be tied to that
Yeah.
campsite.
Yes,
And
and
so
then you
I
could
know there are
actually see who it
festivals
is.
that are like that. If you had that,
Mhm.
then it would be easy. And I don't even mean like you need to have a test to get in. I mean more like if you do that
I know.
type
I
of
was
travel,
just like,
you're not allowed to come back, you know? Like
Yes,
if
you are
if
banned.
I knew that kid's name, I would happily give his name to Summer Camp Music Festival and say, "Do not permit him to buy a ticket again." Like because it's messed up. Because all of us now, thankfully, we all kind of had a reward for doing it, but like we shouldn't
Mhm.
have to clean up someone else's campsite. It's already a lot of work to go all weekend. Most of us don't get full nights of sleep for 4 nights. Like,
Mhm.
and then you're cleaning up someone else's mess. It's just grow up,
Yeah.
you know?
I think
Like,
in a yeah.
I get
I feel like
I
in a
get
lot of
dementia because
places
of Mother
people
Earth,
are like,
so
I feel like many people have the mentality that, oh, if I go somewhere or if it's like a public place, I could just like leave my stuff, I could just litter and somebody else is gonna pick it up. But it's like you're not realizing that that means somebody still has to pick it up or nobody's gonna pick it up. And like what's gonna happen? You know what I mean? And
yeah.
like, yeah, I mean there's dead ass track fires on the subway often because people just throw their trash in the tracks. And like they'll just do
Oh.
that. But like
Right,
I
and
mean,
that's
I
like
feel like that has to
electricity
be
ran through
another.
down there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
People
like,
just
that
throw
you can
their
literally get
trash on
shocked if
electric
you get
tracks all
down in
day.
there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
third rail, baby. Stay away from the third
Mm-mm.
rail. Um,
Yeah, we have
but yeah,
trains
that
by
happens
us, but we
often.
don't have that.
But I do feel like that's one example of like just what level of consciousness you can be on and how are you connecting that to your actions in your life, because
True.
if you really don't believe that if you really don't believe that the earth is connected to you, if you really don't believe that these other people who have to pick up your trash are like connected to you, it's not your problem, it's just you being separate. But
Yeah,
once you understand that we're all connected, that there will still be a consequence of this, even though you're not the one who has to feel that,
yeah,
um you're going to act differently, you're going to feel differently when you see things like that.
yeah, and it's one of those things that's like, I'm not really like, it does happen every once in a while, but I'm not really one to like, just wanna, like, scream profanities, like, and just, like, scribble down, like, all these awful things, but, like, after that, like, after I see someone do that kinda thing, it just gets me to my freaking core. It's just like, we
mm,
all like, if we were living sitting in your freaking living room, would you do that, dude? No, you wouldn't, because it's your living room. Like,
mm,
don't you realize that this is Earth and we all live here? Like, it's not like, yes, I agree with you on being fully connected with each other and with the earth.
mhm,
100% I agree with you. But just even in that superficial, like, I'm disconnected from it all, like, no, you're not. Like, you literally walk and breathe the same freaking air I do.
mhm,
Like, what? It just
yeah.
always perplexes me. Ugh. Mm.
No, but that's the
But
thing is like people really it's self I feel like it's a form of selfishness. Yeah, just a
mhm.
deep form of selfishness.
Yeah, but that was literally the only bad thing that happened. Everyone else was wonderful, and, like I said, we got rewarded. Like, I got a dope tent. I have to clean it, but it's a dope tent. I'm pretty pumped
You
about
got a
it,
new
and I didn't
tent.
have to buy it. And I wanted a new tent that was tall enough for Jeremy to stand in. He's 6'3", so that's difficult. He's gonna have to still crouch a little, but, like, for the most part, he can actually stand in this one, and that's awesome.
That's what's
So,
up. I
yeah.
feel like many tents I can't even feel comfortable standing in, and I'm short.
Mhm.
I'm short, short.
Yeah. Well, it just depends on what kind of tent you're buying, because they do make some that are, like, more, like, cube-like, so they can be, like, tall, and they still are surface
Mm,
area small, but those are usually more expensive, like,
because it's hard when it's windy to
yeah,
have something like a structure like
they
that.
usually have, like, these crazy, like, strings that you're supposed to, like, stake it,
Yeah,
and
you
then you
gotta
have the
put that
strings that come
in,
out,
and if
and
you
it's
don't do
yeah,
that right, everything's just gonna fly away like a giant
yeah.
bird.
Well,
Like,
I will say there was some crazy winds, we did have some canopies take off. That did happen.
ooh,
I
that's
helped
always
save a canopy with a
exciting.
couple dudes. I didn't catch the
Ooh,
canopy, they caught the canopy, but I had extra stakes, so I came in the clutch with the stakes, and we double staked it, and it was golden after that, but yeah, there was
beautiful.
another one canopy that I watched that was like, have you ever seen a double canopy? Like, so it's like 2, but they're like 1, so, like, they have 6 legs. They're just
Yes,
really
I know what
long.
you mean. Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. But it's like
That
almost like two like top parts, but one like
yeah, but
six
it's one
things.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
thing
yeah.
got air underneath it, and it took off, and people are like, heads up," because like,
Oh my god.
what are you gonna do when it's coming at you? You don't have any options but to get the hell out of its way. Thankfully, it
Mhm.
hit like the dumpster, so they were able to like catch the other legs, and it was not as crazy as it could have been, but it definitely makes your heart pitter patter when you see it because I watched that whole thing
Too,
on
because that
TikTok.
could easily just hit somebody's face and really do some damage to a lot of stuff.
It would be a spear. Like it literally, I mean, those legs. Mm. Oh man, it just like
Yeah.
makes me nauseous thinking about what that could do to a human.
Yo.
Oh, but yeah,
We're
like
getting violent on the show.
sorry, we're gonna have to
Impaling
trigger
people and
warning
shit.
this. Promise there's no violence here.
Blue's out here impaling people in her head on live television. I'm just kidding.
I don't think I could live with myself after that. The summer camp better be funding therapy. I tell you what.
Yes.
Did you do
No,
anything
but that
fun for
sounds.
Memorial Day? Because I know a lot of people like cook out and do stuff. I literally miss out on Memorial Day celebrations every
People
year, so I miss
do.
all that stuff.
Yeah, people do that for Memorial Day. Me this year, Memorial Day was regular day, same as any other day. Nothing special, nothing. I just um honestly, the way my time has been flying, I'm like, I can't
What day
even
is
tell
it?
you which weekend was Memorial Day at this point. I'm like, that was it last one?
Yeah, it was
It was
this
last
last
one.
weekend.
But
Yeah.
it feels like that could have been 10 years ago. Like time has been
Dude,
moving very weird for
does this
me.
week not feel like, 7 days, right? 5 days is the work week. Does it not feel like it's been a 7-day work week?
It's felt like an 8-day work week.
Feels long. Like I literally didn't
Stretched.
even work
It felt
Monday.
stretched.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a really long week. And not in like a, oh my God, it's so long. Like just like
No,
it
not
would
like
be a
that at
long
all.
week.
It just time felt like it was passing because on the one hand, and this
Yeah.
happens to me at different points in my life, but it's like on the one hand, it feels like time moved so fast. Like I cannot believe right now that it's this week. I'm confused about what week it is because you could tell me that this weekend is Memorial Day and I would be like, yeah, like the whole week it almost feels like it didn't happen, but at the same time, it feels like it happened so slow, like it was stretched, like I was going through, when they stretch time in the movies, how it kind of looks like when they stretch time, it looks like I was going through one of those like portals that was like stretching you out and you become like flubber really quick and then you become back into a human form. Like I don't know, that's how my week felt. Like,
I yeah, I cannot
so
agree more.
hard to
Like,
say.
wow. That's a perfect way to describe what this week was because it'd be like 1 minute I'd be like, man, like it's only 2 o'clock. Like this day's going on forever.
Yes,
And then I would look down and be like,
yes,
Jeremy's calling me, and I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. Where did those last three
yes,
hours go? What happened?
yes, yes.
Head
Like I
and
would
like
naturally wake up.
hyperspeed.
I would wake up at 6 in the morning naturally, and then I would do stuff, and I would look, and it's like not even noon yet. So I'm like, wow, there's so much more day left. Like, and then next thing I know, I would literally blink my eyes, and it would be 5:30 p.m. Like, what? Time
Yeah.
is moving weird, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's how exactly how I felt all week this week. And I thought it was because, I went to that music festival, so I came home Monday. Like, so I just was like, oh, I'm just
Mhm.
thrown off from
Yeah, like
being
you're
on a
getting yourself.
vacation. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Mhm.
like every time you come back from a vacation, it's always like, wait, what is life? I have to do these things. Like, but
Mhm.
this
Yes.
one has just felt not even, it's just peculiar because it's sometimes when it feels like that, usually it's like I really just want the weekend to be here. I want this week to be
Yeah, but
over thing.
it
But it
wasn't like
wasn't
that.
like that. Like it was just, I don't know. Yeah, I think you explained it really well. Even though you feel like it was weird and it was weird, that's exactly how it was. It was weird.
Okay. That honestly gives me great comfort that to know I'm not the only one that felt like that.
Maybe
And
that's like
because
what the end
honestly,
of Mercury retrograde is all about. Like you like feel it like
Yo, yes, wait, exactly. Like you feel, because it's going direct,
like
so
this,
it's
and I was
literally
like,
going like,
yes.
it's like something yo, we felt that literally in time.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes.
What? Because I did not
Connect.
really get that that's with that energy. Yes, it felt like. All right, thank you for understanding me explain, but I felt like I turned into Flubber and I turned back into a human. And you
That
just
was
being like,
your
yes.
flubber was probably where it was like hyper speeding one way and then it went to go the other way
Yeah,
and you
it's
were
like
still
that's the in
going that way.
between. And that's the in between of the High Priestess. Is like when you're in that moment of like the shifting, it's like cosmic connect, baby.
Listen to this girl go back to something I didn't think she was going to go back to. Oh my God. Have you ever listened to Jenna and Julian podcast?
I
They
don't think
don't make it
so.
anymore. It's completely not even a thing anymore. It's Jenna Marbles and her boyfriend.
Okay,
Anyways, all I was going to say was the way you connect things back, I don't see it coming. It's almost like when Julian will intro into a ad and he'll just do it in the middle of a conversation and always make Jenna like lose her shit because she doesn't see it coming. Like that's exactly what you just did. Like I just like did not see you connecting that back to the High Priestess. Wow.
cosmic connect, baby.
That right there just explains to all of you why this podcast had to happen because these are our conversations.
Exactly. Exactly.
Where do we go from there? How do we connect it further?
I mean, I'm sure. Well, also the posts of the
Oh wait,
canopy are the posts of the in between, and it's flying because it's taking away the borders.
she's trying now.
I'm not. I'm like, what else can we connect?
No, I was just gonna say, I think we haven't had a recording since you had your launch. Do you want to talk about your
Yes.
launch?
Well, I had my lit language live, and that was dope.
And I'm gonna personally
And
apologize on our podcast that I completely missed all of it and then came in the last like 10 or 20 minutes with my volume straight up. I'm sure all you heard was me feeling bad that I was late. I remember saying it a million times, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I missed it. Oh my God, I'm the worst friend ever. I have a podcast host and I missed my friend's thing." Oh, I was losing my mind. And then I look down and I just see all in the chat, you're unmuted. And I'm like, oh my God, oh no. And then I look up and I'm muted and I'm like, I'm muted. Like, what?
Wait, but this is actually funny because from my perspective, like I'm in the middle of channeling the Pleiadians. Um, it was like part of this interactive activity, fun interactive activity with it.
That was
So
our
I'm
last,
like,
that's the last episode before this.
yes, yes. I was in the. They came through on Lit Language Live. The Vegans came through strong, and the Pleiadians came through strong. Um, and I literally had a whole contact, like the Vegans in real life. The star was like looking at me. It's a whole thing. We could talk about that another day. But the Vegans came through strong, and the Pleiadians came through strong. So I'm doing it, doing my Lit Language Live, doing the like codes. And then I just hear like, I don't know, because I'm in the middle of channeling, so I just hear like like I just hear that somebody's unmuted and it sounds, I see a cat and I'm like and I'm like in my head I'm still channeling, there's still words coming out of my mouth, and I'm like I kind of like just open my eyes a little bit and I'm like I go real quick and I'm like I click and I'm like, and I've never hosted a Zoom meeting like this before in my life, not gonna lie. I didn't even know how to unmute, how to like mute other people on the channel when you're hosting a thing. I've never done this before in my life, but somehow I'm channeling the Pleiadians, and I go and I click and I'm like, okay, mute, and the whole time I'm still channeling the Pleiadians, and I go back to
I was listening to you the whole time I was on there, just like, she sounds so beautiful, and I can't believe I missed it. Like, so, like, I'm so glad that you were able to do that. Like, I seriously thought that Hannah muted me because she was the first one to say something, and I thought maybe you like gave powers to somebody so that they could do that. So I thought for sure she muted me, and I was like, "Oh, thank God, Hannah, thank you." And then later when I messaged you, I was like, "I'm so
Yes.
sorry." You were like, "I muted you. It's fine." I was like, "Wait, what? How did you mute me?"
Yeah, I was like, I
You
don't
didn't
even know how
stop.
I did that, but I'm honestly proud of myself that I somehow was able to do that. So thank you for giving me that opportunity to showcase
Strong
my
you are.
talent. I'm gonna put that on my website. Like I can
Channel
channel
through
even
loud bitches.
I can. That's how powerful it is. So
Oh,
yes,
oh my gosh.
language
Well,
lab
besides
was
me,
lit.
how was the first beginning of it?
It was good. It was very fun to do. Like I feel like I definitely want to be doing more events like that. It was I realized it was a very like I felt like I was almost kind of like leading people in a almost like shamanic way towards certain things, and it was very cool. Like I had never I have definitely channeled light language many times, and I've channeled light language on the podcast, but I feel like there was a very special energy and a very just something very special about having kind of a group of people live together. I mean, I've channeled for a group of people live together in person, but
Right.
not on a Zoom call and not for people who literally only came to experience that, you know? And so
Yeah, right.
it
That
was
was just at a
something
show,
very
right?
special about that.
You did it live,
Yeah, like it
like
was
the
in a
group
hip
just
hop
at a
show the first
show.
time
Yeah.
that I did that. So people weren't necessarily they didn't necessarily know what
Right.
I just, I was just
How
like, bam,
now
surprise.
I have a two-part question, but my first part is
Mhm.
the live show, how was it perceived since it was like a hip hop show? Like how was that like perceived in that crowd? Because I imagine that crowd's a pretty mixed array. I mean,
Yeah, well, I feel like when I did that, it was the perfect group. It was the perfect time, and I do feel like it was divinely guided that it happened in that way because uh the the hip hop community, it is diverse. There's definitely a wide range of many things, but I do feel like the hip hop community is very aware of things and very conscious and very knowledgeable about like many spiritual topics, many like galactic type of things. So I feel like the group that I first brought this to in person were very receptive to it. It was a perfect time for that. And it was just a group of people who are very aware and very spiritual and very conscious overall, but it was also a mixed crowd. Like I wouldn't say every single person in the crowd was like that, but there were people who were. And I feel like the it was also it was it was a night of hip hop performances. So I just feel like people hadn't ever experienced that particularly before, but I think that they were receptive to it, and I feel like people understood what it was that I was doing.
mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure there could be crowds where I could go and speak light language, and people would be like,
What the
"What the fuck is
fuck? Yeah,
happening?"
yeah, right.
But I
It
will
wasn't like
say
that.
that it was quite the opposite. When I started doing it, like the room of people just got very, very quiet, and everybody was meditating and tuning into their heart space. And it was not a big event either. It was a very small, like intimate event. And there were also speakers talking about like NFTs and stuff. So some people were just like kind of more business guys there to learn about
Oh,
NFTs, and so it was a mixed crowd. It was a
yeah,
mixed crowd, but
wow.
everybody who was there when I was doing it was into it. Like the room got silent, people were very attentive, and the channeling that came through me that day was very powerful. It was very, very powerful, and everybody in the room felt it. And I got extremely good feedback from many people. Like this guy in kind of a polo shirt came up and he was like, I've never experienced anything like that before. I will never forget this. Like, I will
Yeah.
take this with me for the rest of my life. Like, thank you.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
Oh, that's so cool.
and another guy who was there was like came up to me and he was like, yo, like, I know that you have been through a lot in your life to be able to do what you just did, and I recognize this in you, and I see this. And like he said, he felt his warrior spirit awaken when I like channeled the light language. So
Aww.
people felt it, like people
That's
knew
so
what was up.
cool.
There's
That's
long
so
story
cool.
short, it went perfectly, it went very well.
And then
And I
go ahead.
I want to keep doing that, but I feel like every show is different. Like there's some shows I play where I really just want to be doing music and I don't, and then there's some events I think I want to do that are really just going to be more light language, and I feel like I also want to have things that are fusing the two. So I don't know, I feel like I feel like I'm kind of riding a wave and also kind of working with the galactics on what, based on who is going to be there and what kind of event it might be, of just how things kind of pan out. But I will say that the way things have been panning out, it's dope.
Hey,
it's dope. It feels good. It feels good.
Divine timing.
So,
then my other follow-up to that was, obviously when you're doing it live, I imagine you do it similar to when you're on a live call, on a Zoom call. So like I know that you kind of will close your eyes sometimes. Like I've seen you open your eyes at certain times, but for the most part, I feel like you usually kind of like tune in. But did you feel, because when you're channeling, you're probably really in that flow of that energy. So like, but with people watching you, you also have that energy. You know what I mean? But in a Zoom call, there's sometimes a little bit of that. I mean, there's definitely times where we interrupt each other. We're not really trying to, even though we've totally agreed that we probably would naturally interrupt each other at times in real life anyways. But
yeah,
with it being a Zoom, did you feel any, like, I don't know, missing element there? Or did you still feel like a similar connection?
I felt a similar connection. I feel like I can still tune into the energy. It's different because
Different, yeah.
it's a very small, it was a very small group, it's a very intimate group of people. So I almost felt like it's like almost like we're, I imagine us in a circle, and I feel like I still tune into people's energies in a similar way, and to the galactic energies. And I know for a fact that light language activates just as powerfully, whether it's live, whether it's in a replay, whether you're in person, whether it's through a screen, whether it's through Zoom. Like, light language lives, so there's no there's no like, oh no, it's through Zoom, so it's not going to be as powerful of an activation. It's like, no,
Oh no,
it's
yeah.
still going to be a powerful activation. Like, oh, you
Oh
can
yeah,
watch a recording of it
totally.
and it still could be a powerful activation for you. Um so I still felt so much energy flowing through me, and I felt it still felt very powerful even through a Zoom forum type of situation.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so awesome. I think it's such powerful, powerful stuff.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like,
Yeah,
I would do
yeah.
it all day. Like, I told the classes, I was like, I could do more light language, and they're like, yes, but people can't take in that much like light codes in one day. Like, you gotta be, you gotta space it
You
out. Take
gotta let them
time.
digest it first. Chill.
Let them integrate. Let them integrate. Drink water.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
me too. Like, I've definitely felt an energetic toll that it took on me. Um, after
Yeah.
channeling, like I was so exhausted the next
Right.
day, and I was like having to drink a lot of water because it was a lot. It can be a lot to receive it, but to channel it too, it's like, ooh, it was a lot of energy flowing through me. It was a
Mhm.
lot of energy flowing through me. So
Yeah, I
um,
bet. Yeah,
awesome but intense.
and you said a couple uh different families came through, so that I feel like having like not just
Mhm.
one but multiple, like that could just be a lot. So
Mhm.
I feel like that would probably drain you. You are while you are an alien, you are in human form, and so that definitely is
Yes.
a lot of energy for that body to take.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. I know what I've
I
been thinking
feel
about
like
too.
I
Oh
was
no,
just
you
gonna
go.
say I feel like after the podcast, after we're done recording, I'm like buzzy and like it's all like jittery, and then
Mhm.
like I just pass out. Like it's like so weird. Like
Yes.
me and Jeremy will talk for a little bit, and then I don't even remember falling asleep. It's like I just gone. And and I
You
think it
just
was more after our last set of
crash.
recording, our last sets of
Mhm.
recording, because like the last recording,
Those were
I
long.
felt them. Remember that was in the last recording where I felt their hand on my
Yes.
shoulder and
The
like,
Martians. You were
yeah.
touched by the
Um,
Martians.
that one was, I felt very buzzy after, and the last thing we talked about was the Palladian. So I think that
Mhm.
one also left me very like just. That was actually a very good podcast. I'm curious. I really want people tell me if that was a good
Yes.
one because I thought it was a good one.
I thought that one felt I will say when we did the Pleiadian, I haven't listened back to it yet, so I really don't remember all the things that we
Oh,
talked about, but
so
I
good.
remember the way that I felt when we were talking about them when we did that. Like that was very special. That was a
Yeah,
very special podcast. Like
so
all the
special.
podcasts are dope, but that one it felt very nice. So yeah, I'm curious to what our wonderful loyal viewers and watchers and listeners
Ah,
think about that
so
too.
good. So good. But we will eventually talk about more star seeds, I'm sure. But we just wanted to do a fun, silly
Yes.
one.
Yes,
Cool.
we're gonna get into
You want
like
to ask some
a lot
questions? We
more.
asked a little question earlier. I'm trying to think.
Yes.
What
So
where's the furthest place you've ever traveled?
the furthest place I ever traveled.
You've left the country,
Um
right?
well I guess I've traveled to other countries too.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
Well
where's
in
the
the
furthest?
country
Okay,
so
both.
I guess the most remote place is the first place that I've done archaeology, which is in the Orkney Islands in Scotland. Because to get there, it's like very north. It's like
Hmm.
just a little bit down from the Arctic Circle,
Okay,
so it's very
so it's
far north. It's
cold.
like you go to Scotland. Yes, it's like kind of like a subarctic environment, but it's not. I mean, I went there in the summer, so it's not. It's
Oh,
actually pretty temperate.
okay.
Not in the sense that like there's a wind that goes through there where like in the summer it doesn't get so hot, it just stays a little bit cold, but in the winter it also doesn't get so cold. It just it gets cold but not crazy because there's just like
Hmm.
this certain wind that goes through it. I don't know if I'm
Oh,
saying
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah. Weather is
but
so cool.
they yes. And oh my gosh, and when we talk about wait I love to talk about this because when we're talking about like global warming, and if there's like so there's the jet stream, right?
Mm-hmm. Right?
And the okay, so if the ocean level is rising and the polar ice caps are becoming a different weight, then it actually changes the gravitational pull, which changes the wind pattern. So the jet stream, which kind of goes across like the kind of like the northern strip, the jet stream, it
Mm-hmm.
goes like that in almost like a sine
Right,
wave pattern. That's
right.
how the air flows. But because the gravitational pull kind of changed slightly, the jet stream got longer. So I know at least where I live, like in Brooklyn, I remember there was a specific year where things kind of started changing, where before it used to be like so consistently cold, and then like so consistently like hot in the summer, cold in the winter, and like just it would be the same kind of weather degrees for a while in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like then there was a certain time where it switched, and then we had the polar vortex, and it was so extra epically freezing for like 2 weeks. But then the next few weeks, it would be like a little bit warmer than usual, like 10 degrees, 20 degrees normal
Mm-hmm.
than usual that year. And that's because the jet stream actually started going further, so it changed the weather pattern. So when it goes down on the jet stream, it would be extra cold for those 2 weeks compared to the regular average. And when it goes and when the jet stream is like up on the jet stream, then it's a little bit warmer than the regular average. So that always just fascinated me. um
Wow. I think I learned something like that before, but I just feel like I just learned something all over again or something new.
isn't that cool?
So
Yeah,
interesting.
I remember learning about that, and I was like, "Oh, that makes sense. Now I know why the weather like changed like that, because people kept I
Mhm.
remember especially during that time, like people kept remarking on the weather, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know why it would be so cold and then so hot and then so cold and then so hot when before it used to just always feel the same." And then like that just completely explained it to me, and I was like,
Wait,
"Oh,
now that we're talking about weather, let's stay on this tangent for just a second. You want to know a crazy
yeah,
weather fact that I know?
yeah,
Okay, so you know when it says like 56% chance of rain,
mhm,
right? 56 56% chance of rain means that it could rain in like 56% of the 100% area of the area, not 56% chance like positive it's going to
not like a
rain.
probability."
Yes.
Oh, no, it's like wait, so it's like the it has to do with land cover
Uh-huh.
of the cloud, and
Like, yes.
56% of that looks like it would rain on. Whoa.
A mind warp. I learned that last year from a dude I met at summer camp, and I was like, "No way." And he was like,
Like, are you a
"Dude, I'm not
meteorologist?
kidding you. When I learned that, I realized that everything that we watch on the Weather Channel is kind of a joke." And I was like, "What?" So I'm like thinking
Oh my
about it, and it's
god.
like, dang. That's why when you're someplace where it's like really, really big and open, if you could like see it raining in a distance and you don't see it raining over here, yeah, that's your 56%
Mhm.
chance. It's 56. That's part of the 56% chance of the area that was gonna rain, not you.
So if the area,
So
but
like,
what?
so
How
like,
big is
say
the
for instance, they
area?
do it over like a city. So they'll be like, oh, this
Yeah.
county has 56% chance of rain. It's like
So
56%
56%
of
of the
that
county
county
will rain.
rain. 56% chance it will rain.
Oh.
That's two very
I
different
get it,
things,
because
right?
they're very different. Know what? I remember I had like a conversation with somebody once, but it was like, those like, I don't know, it was just one of those like silly like thinking conversations, but it wasn't anything serious. But I just remember like thinking with this, there was like this girl, she was like, "Yo, like, what if?" She's like, "Wait, does 56%?" For example, she's just like, "56%, does it mean that?" The way that she thought it meant was, does 56% chance mean that probability, like we were talking, which is what I thought it meant. But what she thought it meant is like, it's going to rain, but it's going to be 56% heaviness of your rain, like on you. like like when it's a downpour, that's 100% rain. When it's drizzle, that's like a 10% rain. Like that's like
The
like
clouds
the
are
intensity.
really giving it to us today. But tomorrow
Yes.
they're just feeling like 10%. They're just gonna show up 10%. Oh, that's cute, kinda, that she thought that. I wish we knew what the clouds were carrying with them so that we really could know. That's interesting.
But that just made me think of that, and I just sometimes I just think of that, and I just like laugh. I was just like, "Oh, that's so cute." I think that's funny, but yeah, weather is fun. I also feel like, honestly, I mean, if we want to just get out there for a second, like, how do you feel about the the clouds not being real, and like all the weather, like government projected weather patterns and all that type of stuff.
Well, just to kind of like connect what you were just talking about and some of the conspiracy thing, I
Mhm.
kind of think you could fuck with weather. So like as far as like, oh,
Mhm.
the government's controlling the weather, like if they wanted to, they probably could. Like they have literally
Mhm.
showed how you can create
Yes.
a hurricane. So like
Yes.
if you can create a hurricane, then you probably will do it because it will
Yes.
generate money because that's how sick
Mhm.
our world works in some ways.
Mhm.
Um
Mhm.
so, like, I guess I can buy into, like, the weather being controlled, but I don't know if I believe, like, the clouds aren't real. Like, isn't the clouds,
Mhm.
like, the whole, like, evaporation and then, like, they
Yeah,
precipitate,
I
like
feel like
like,
there's real clouds, but then you feel like I feel like sometimes like the clouds because well then you get into the chemtrails stuff
oh,
and it's
yeah,
like
that's
but some of it
yeah.
may be a real cloud that's
I was just
evaporation
gonna
condensation but some of it may be and also another form of that is like it could be a cloud but what they have it evaporating because there's so much like pollution and all that stuff is like is that even it's technically a cloud but there could be so much like crap in it that it's not like a pure cloud, you know what I mean?
oh, well, I definitely think that we've tainted our water and our like, just our whole Mother Earth at this point. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know. I think that it's probably safe to say that there's probably very few pure areas. Like I literally live in a state that calls itself pure Michigan, and I just kind of like chuckle because it's just like, yeah, pure Michigan. If you are up north, you might get some pure Michigan, but if you get to the southwest corner, I would even probably say the northwest or the southeast corner is probably similar, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that don't value the planet we live on. So I definitely think that
Yes.
we create, and I think that the value or the lack of value of composting and plastic usage and that kind of stuff, definitely I think that contributes to a lot of our climate stuff. And
Mhm.
I think until people really pay attention to that stuff, I definitely think that we pollute our rains. And
Yes, and
I would
especially
never,
corporations.
yeah, I would never, say that you should drink rainwater now. But there was a time when we were kids, or maybe when our
Yes, I
parents were
remember.
kids, that it would have been 100% fine. Like, it
Mhm.
would be dirty water, but like, you
Yeah,
weren't gonna get sick from
pure.
it. But like,
Mhm.
now the reason why, like, our country, well, I don't know if it's
Acid rain, all the
nationwide, but I
things.
know that there's a lot of states and counties and things that do not allow you to collect rainwater. Like that's like a no-no.
They don't allow you to collect rainwater.
Yeah, there's a lot of
That does
places
not
that
sound like a
want,
conspiracy to you. That sounds like a conspiracy to me.
right,
What?
dude.
How can you prohibit someone from collecting?
You know that you can also prohibit people from living off grid. Like there was like a woman in, I want to say, Florida, that was like living in some mobile unit of some sort, and she got disconnected from the water and didn't want to be hooked up to the water. And they find her, and I don't remember the full consistency, but it was basically like they find her and she had to hook up to the city water, or she had to leave, or I forget what the ultimatum was. But yeah,
Oh
like
my god.
they are making it more and more difficult. Like for instance, there's like rules like of you're not allowed to have two living quarters on the same property of so many feet. And this is for certain counties. Like this isn't nationwide.
Yeah, I
I
do
could
know
say
they
that.
have very specific regulations in different places. Yeah.
Yeah, and like why? Why can't I have like a little shed in the back that's like a guest house? Why? What does that bother you? And it's because then they can't, they're losing out on that person buying a property and paying property taxes and having a, you know what I mean? Like it's just,
Mhm.
it's
Ugh.
so crazy. Like I
Ugh.
definitely think that our country controls
Ugh.
enough
Ugh.
that
Ugh.
we could totally be tainting our, you know, I mean, if we're tainting our water, we're tainting our clouds. Like,
Everything.
yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, we literally have organic and unorganic food. Like, we literally shouldn't even have unorganic food. Like, what do you mean? What does that mean?
Mhm.
Why do you have anything that's not organic? It should be
Mhm.
natural.
Because could that be? Is that even food?
Well, I mean, basically, what makes anything organic in this country is it doesn't use
No
pesticides. So, like,
pesticides. But if
food, but it's just been, chemically treated.
right, right. But
Gross.
like in the same vein where you're like, what even is that?
True.
Like what is an inorganic food? If something is inorganic, it should be by definition that's not food because
I
it's
mean,
not.
I could go on a whole little tirade about this kind of stuff because I just like I'm so passionate about, you know,
Yeah, we are gonna have a whole episode, and I want to talk. I want you to talk more about like all your stuff on plastic and the environment and the
oh my
power
gosh.
of the dollar and where we're putting our monies. And
I feel
I
like
think we will definitely be having a whole episode about all of that. But it is, I feel like it is very important, and I feel like it is very much connected to a lot of the groundwork that many star seeds are working on is to literally, protect the environment, to save the planet physically, to heal people on the planet in various ways, physically, emotionally, energetically, to break down the systems, to work on creating better opportunities for a better future,
yeah, I
you
totally
know.
agree. I think the thing that's like, really crazy, but also so simple that perplexes me that we make it so complex is like, did you know that every single thing that causes a reaction, like plant wise, there's another plant usually within so many feet of it that
Yes,
counteract
that's
it?
the remedy. Yes. Nature
So
is powerful.
it just blows my mind that pharmaceuticals have completely wiped out our value for our planet. And it's not just
Mhm.
pharmaceuticals. I mean, various other things have
Mhm.
contributed to that as well. But I think that that's was probably one of the leading contenders of why we went away from our, you know, earth. Like, yes, we still eat fruits and vegetables from her, but we have very little care on how that's being made, some of us, or how it's
Mhm.
being grown. And, it's just,
Mhm.
just such a thing.
Yes, we've changed the ecosystem so our crop ecosystem is not diverse. Most like 90
Yeah.
something percent of the natural things natural thing stuff
Natural thing stuff.
extracts
Natural
that's
plants.
found from nature and stuff that like helps people heal and stuff, like 98% of that is from like the rainforest and these other different parts of the earth where it's like there's such a vast environment that is like the ecosystem is ancient and has all of this diversity, this biodiversity, which helps things grow and change. Whereas when we farm, we build a whole farm that's all
Mhm.
one plant and it
Mhm.
doesn't grow the same. There's no natural remedy and there's no mother earth naturally becoming alive within it. It's like we kill it and then we
We
put it
build
with
it
a
back up.
chemical and then we put like it's not a living earth.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
creating
I love there's a lot
more.
of push for the regenerative farming right now
Yes,
because of that,
yes.
and that's really cool. But we
Hmm.
got on this tangent because we were asking
Yeah, very
what
long.
far you went. Like, yeah, really long tangent. But you went to Scotland.
Yes,
Why did you go to
yes.
Scotland?
So I went to Scotland to do archaeology in the Orkney Islands, which is called the Egypt of the North. And we can talk more about all that another time
We
as
need to do a
well.
whole
But
thing. I need to talk. I needed to ask way
it
more
was,
questions. Archaeology?
yes,
What?
yes. Like if you're into like Stonehenge, like the site that I was on had like a Neolithic civilization that was from like kind of that same culture and same era, but as well as it went all the way through like the Iron Age and with having like
Wow.
Vikings. So there was like the Pictish native population, and then there was the Vikings. This was one of the first places where the Vikings came into the UK to like enter more southern parts of Europe. So it's a very it was a very archaeologically rich place. And you can find a bunch of documentaries on this if you're more interested on YouTube or whatever. You could just type in the Orkney Islands, and it's very
Wow.
if you're into that type of thing, like which I always have been. I always love those
Yeah.
documentaries. I love to learn about all that stuff. So it was truly a magical experience. But that is it was very remote. It's like you have to take a plane I had to take a plane to another plane and then to another plane because you get to the island and then there's only one airline that actually flies to the islands. But you have to fly to the main island, and then I had to take a bus to the ferry, which got me to the actual island that we were staying on. So it was literally
What a
a
travel.
friggin' trek, a friggin' trek. Yeah, it was,
Wow.
but it was worth it. It's worth it if
Oh,
you
I
ever want to
bet.
go all the way out there. Take the plane, automobile, ferry,
Well.
um, all that. Do it.
Oh, that would be so cool. It'd be so, so cool. Do you ever want to go back?
I do, and this is what's so sad for me in my life. Sometimes is like because every time you travel and it's like a great experience, it's like, oh, I love that so much. Like, I want to go back. That was so awesome. But then at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, it's like there's so many places I want to travel that
Right.
I've never been to before. So when I'm traveling, it's
Yeah.
like, do I go to this place I've never been to before, or do I go back? So I don't know. I'm gonna have to be extremely rich someday for like the way I'm gonna have to be traveling to all these places and
You
re-traveling to all these
will.
places.
You are already abundant. It will happen. You
Yes,
will.
that's right.
You will.
That's right.
I want to
And
travel
we're
out of the
going.
country. I haven't done that yet. I really want to do that.
Mhm.
I've gone to a lot of the farthest places. Like I've been to California once when I was like a little
Mhm.
kid. I really want to go as an adult. Because I think I would like it a little bit more. Um,
Yes,
I've
for
been to New
sure.
York, but I went to like New York State, not New York City, so I've never been to
Mhm.
NYC. Um, and then I've been to Florida. I've been as far as the Key West, which is one of my favorite. I've only been once, but still, I'm not even kidding you, is one of my favorite places on earth. It was just
Oh yeah.
I went there at 18. It was New Year's, so it's like I seen it at all of the glory, like all of the glory
Mhm.
as an 18-year-old. I was drinking on Duval Street. I think it's Duval Street. Mm, I always mess it up. Yeah, Duval Street, because I think Beale Street is in Memphis. I think it's Duval. Anyways, the main strip on in Key West, like literally turns into a just a roaring good time. It like people are all standing in the streets and there's like a drag show, then they're hosting the whole
Oh.
event for the night. And oh, it was
Mhm.
just such a hoot. And I was like 18 drinking a beer on the main street thinking I was, hot shit because,
Hot shit. Wait a minute.
I was 18 and I wasn't supposed to be
Uh
drinking and
huh.
I thought I was so cool because, I didn't
Yes.
look like I was 18 because, if you look like you
Mhm.
were supposed to do it, you're fine. Uh,
Totally blown
but
here. Yeah.
yeah, I've been gone as far as like Montana and like the north. So I drove all through all this northern
So
states
you,
and
I feel like you've really been across
I've
the
done a little bit of
country then.
traveling.
Is that you've
A little bit.
spanned, you've
I've never
spanned the
been. I
United States.
really, really want to go to Sedona. That's like my bucket list, like
Oh, I would
top of the
love to
list.
go there. I want to go to Mount Shasta as well. Like
Where's
someday
that
I
at?
would love to go.
Is that in Arizona too?
I think it's in California.
Oh, okay.
Some people call that the root chakra of Mother Earth. It's like around Mount Shasta.
Oh, I didn't
It's
know.
it's another place where there's like just a lot of spiritual connection and a lot of like people experience a lot of
Yeah,
things there, kind of
that's
similar to,
cool.
kind of a high vibrational portal place on Earth. Like I feel like Earth has all these different places throughout where there's just these places that some are vortexes, some maybe portals, but
Yeah,
they're just
yeah.
these, these places of high, really, really high vibrational
Oh,
power that
yeah,
are sacred sites
totally.
and all that stuff, and I feel like there is
Totally.
really a lot to be said for going there to any of these places and
And I think there's a
experiencing that.
lot
So,
I think there's a lot of, like, the key ones that everybody thinks about, but there's a lot of them that
mhm,
you very much, because like,
yes,
there's been times where we were in the Smoky
yes,
Mountains, and you're in the Smoky
mhm,
Mountains, and there's just something magical about it. Like, I don't know what it
yes,
is about the Smoky Mountains, because it's not, like, mountains, but I mean, it's just
mhm,
there's so many waterfalls, and when you find them, they're in these
mhm,
lush environments, and it's just, I mean, it's breathtaking. It's
yes.
really breathtaking. I really wanna
It's
go see the
like,
redwoods,
oh, like the big
forest,
big trees.
the
Yes,
big, huge trees.
the big big
Um,
trees.
and
I would love.
speaking of the Smoky
Yes.
Mountains, I would love to go to, like, Oregon because of the lushness. I would love to see that, like,
Mhm. Yes, my sister
jungle-ness.
lives in Oregon, and
Yes.
yes, I like driving along that Oregon coast. It's We went hiking over there. There's like the sea lion caves too. It's really cool. There was like this little hike that we did that was like they call it the Hobbit hike because it's like the trees are like going around and you feel like a little hobbit like
Ooh.
and then you finally go through this little forest and you just come out and there's the beach and it's like whoa, like it's really cool.
Oh my god,
It's so
I have
cool.
to go there. That sounds like heaven on earth. If
It's
that
really
heaven's a real place.
cool.
That's literally sounds incredible. Utopia. Little fairies. I just imagine fairies
Utopia.
everywhere. Like,
Yes, and I think that they are like I feel like when I would go upstate as a kid, I would always feel like a lot of fairies around the woods and like there would like I would be walking, I would take a little walk around the block or whatever where like our little cabin would be and there would be like a deer would come and like chill with me by a stream and like there's just something very magical about a
mhm.
woodlands environment to me, like I
Yeah,
can't quite put my finger on, but
there's some woods by my salon and there's some trees that live there. No, that's not what I was trying to say. Some deer that live there, and today I had one of my clients who I she's a witchy gal herself, but she kind of hits me as like an elf or a fairy. Like she just always
mhm.
like loves to take walks in the woods, and the way she talks is just so whimsical and like whiskey and like I don't know, like I
I
just
love that.
love her vibe so much. But with this, what were we talking about? Oh no.
um, woodland environment
Yeah,
and trees and
dang.
berries and
I don't remember.
the the deer.
Oh, the deer. Yes. She was at the salon and the deer came out of the woods. And I was like, "Oh, look,
Mhm.
the deer." And she, just like me, got so excited. It was the most, like, charming thing ever. Like, she was like, "Oh, look at them." And she's just like, "They're so pretty." And I was like, "Yes, that's how I am." Every time
No.
anyone else is in there and I'm like, "Oh, look at the deer." They're like, "Cool.
Yeah, it's a deer.
They're beautiful. They're my friends."
Yes, I feel like especially after like being more like because I've always been like this to a certain extent, but I feel like especially after being more spiritually awoken, like I get like that with everything. I'll be like, oh, there's a spider in the car. Like, ooh, like what does this mean? And I'll be like,
Okay,
I'll be
wait.
I'll be like,
You
there's a
might be really
bird.
right.
Like, you know what I
Really right.
mean?
Because I would usually say I'm phobic of spiders. When we
Hmm.
were camping, Jeremy would try to kill a spider. I'm like, dude, just let them go. Like, this is their environment. So I'd be like swatting them
Yeah.
out of the way, like, go live over there, buddy. Like, I'm like, oh no, what's happening to me? What's happening to me? I'm changing. I'm changing.
Yeah, like, oh God, it's flubber.
I do not want to curl up with a spider. Please do not bring your spider around me, but I'm not going to kill one when I'm camping because this is their environment, not mine.
Yes, and there is like something very magical about spiders, but yeah, I
I can
just feel
so
like
see
it's
it. I just don't
anything
see the
like
spectacle.
butterflies, like butterflies. If I'm in the if like I see a bird, if yeah, like seeing a deer, like if I'm driving and seeing a like, but honestly, literally, like there will be like and I do this daily, and these same birds can come every single day, but every single time I get that same, it's like, oh my gosh, the birds are here. They're coming to say hi on my balcony. Like I don't know. Like I feel like Cinderella every time, you know?
I will get mad at my cats, and 2 seconds later they'll come up to me and be like, "Oh, hi, you're so pretty." But then there's sometimes where I'm like, "Get away from me! I'm actually really mad at you, bro." Because I feel like my cats are humans in cat form. I'm like, I'm mad at you. You did that on purpose. I don't want to be around
You're just being a cat to your cats, and they're like,
you. Yes.
yeah, cool, we got it.
Sometimes
Because
they
that's
don't
how
get it,
they
but
are
I
too
love when they do
with
get
us.
it. I love when they do get it. When they're like, all right, fine. I'll leave you alone, man. I'm sorry.
I feel like the way I am, like especially with my baby girl, because she'll just be chaotic. Like even as you saw when we just went sat down to start recording, I literally was like, wait, just give me 1 second, because baby girl's about to do some chaos, and you hear this giant crash. But it's just like I can't help but be like, that's my baby girl. Like that's my
See,
baby
my
girl
baby
doing baby
girl,
girl stuff, and here she is just sitting next to me, like you know, she's a little
baby girl
grumpy,
is
but
the
like I'm
best
happy for
cat. Me and Jeremy have decided she is the best cat. She can live
her.
forever. The other two can move on to their next life whenever they're ready.
Yeah.
But Lala must live here forever. She just
Oh.
takes care of us. Like she bullies Jeremy a little bit, but she takes care of me and she's so sweet.
Mm, that's baby girl. Like she'll always chill with me. She'll always like she'll purr on my belly when I'm having a bad day. I'm like, you love me, I love you. She's my little galactic space companion. Like I don't know, she's my
Yeah.
space cadet, my little space cadet.
We need to get
I love
like
you,
a
baby girl.
galactic girl, like one of those that would be a cool logo for us. We need to get like silhouette of a woman. My hair's always straight, like mine be straight, your hair's will be curly, and then you just put all the little galactic kitties next to it. Because I have 3 cats, and I know you have a couple. We just have
I have two.
like our cats.
I feel like we
It would be
also
so
need to
cute.
include, yes, including all the cats at my parents' house. That's plus 5 more now.
Oh my gosh, you guys have a lot of cats.
My
Wow.
parents keep like having these cats like just appear to them.
Wow. Well, I think we've recorded, we have a good hour and a half, so we might be able
Yes.
to cut this a little short. Maybe we'll pick back up with the Star Seed family conversation next time. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. We'll see what we're feeling. Let us know what
Yep.
you think in the bottom below.
Yes, but this was fun. I
Yeah.
love to hear about your festival experience. I love to hear about what's been going on with you. I love to hear about your travels across the country.
I can't wait to hear more about the Scotland trip. What was the island's name again?
The Orkney Islands. It's
The Orkney Islands.
Orkney. Orkney.
Orkney. Yeah, I need to hear more about that. That sounds awesome. I feel like you talked a little bit about it in some of the chats before, but obviously we need to have like maybe just a little segment of an episode where we talk about that because I would love to hear more about that. That sounds so cool.
Yes, there's
Did
a
you do
lot
like
to
a
talk
semester?
about with that.
Like a
It
semester
was
abroad?
a summer. It was a
Oh, a summer.
summer, like
Okay.
yeah, it was like summer abroad. So it was like I was there for really like a month doing
Yeah.
doing the archaeology, and
Yeah,
then
I have a friend in Italy right
traveled
now
to other
doing
parts
that.
of Europe. It's so awesome. Like, if anyone out there is like in college and you might have the opportunity to do something like that, that's just interesting to you, whatever field that might be for you, like, I just highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. And like, I went to the public, like, university system. Like, I went to Brooklyn College, so I was able to, when I was going through college, like, I had a really, really good scholarship, and they like gave me a laptop and stuff. So so I was able to like, I was able to then kind of take that money and put it towards my studying, like,
abroad,
my that semester. Like, that was my thing. I was like, all right, like, I'll stay home and I'll commute to campus and I'll like stay with my parents, but I'm gonna go study abroad. I'm gonna do this experience. And I'm so glad that I did that. So if anybody out there has that opportunity, just do it. Like, you will remember it for the rest of your life. You truly will.
Yeah, that's the one thing. If I had a name of regret, it would be that I never did any study abroad program in college. It would have been so cool. So cool. Because when you're young, you just don't have as many like connections and like strings and responsibilities, and like, you know, the older you get, the more you like are connected to things that you're just like, I don't want to leave them for that long. Like, oh, I just wish that would have been in my cards. But I will travel. Mark my words. But
hell yeah, you get to do that. You get to do your adult version of that, where you won't probably actually have money and like just be, you know, because it's fun. I feel like sometimes it's fun to travel like that, where it's like, oh, I'm budgeting and everything. But like, when you're a college kid, like, traveling, it's like, okay, like, I'll sleep on the floor, like, of this airport. It's cool.
True. Yeah, but you just say you slept on an airport floor. Not a lot of people would say that. Only college students, maybe. Or people that fly a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, you do what you gotta do.
Yeah. But if you want to connect with us, of course, you can connect us on all the social medias at cosmiconnect.bloo, Frenchie and Bloo. Frenchie Bloo. And then
cosmiconnect.frenchiexvii. Email us at cosmiconnect.frenchiebloo@gmail. And you can check us out on TikTok, check us out on Instagram, check us out on the emails, check us out on the YouTube. I'm saying all the old geezer version of saying all these things.
Yeah, we're working on trying to get on Apple Podcasts. We're not sure why it's not going there. I will figure that out for any of you Apple listeners that are absolutely missing out right now, or any of you Spotify listeners that your Apple friends are like, well, I can't find it. We're working on it. So sorry. We'll get all the episodes all up one time. We'll get a big drop at once.
Big drop. Apple drop.
The
big apple drop coming to you live. The big apple drop.
And you can connect with me at bloo.river.
And with me at frenchiexvii. That's Frenchie frenchiexvii on all the platforms. It's been a pleasure connecting with you all tonight.
Pleasure connecting with you, doll. I love it always. And we'll see you guys next episode.
Next time. Peace. Bye.